Hi everyone, you're watching the Toon review, just reviewing last night's game between Newcastle and Villa. Finished 2-0 to the Toon, and in the end it was a very, very comfortable win after what was an absolutely dreadful first 45 minutes, but I'll come on to that in a minute. Just before we go into the match, a massive big shout out to Gallagher Flags, because you know, those guys go in a couple hours before the game, they set the flags up, and it really was fantastic in that court, especially in the corner last night before the game. It really sort of got the whole ground going, and then when the big flag came out and went right across the Gallagher, it was absolutely fantastic. So a massive well done to them. Keep up the good work, because it really does generate a hell of an atmosphere before the game kicks off. The game starts with probably a predicted 11. You know, we go from Darlow, we go Yedlin, Clark, Lascelles in the middle again, Dumb at left back, Gouffran on the left. I thought maybe Atsu would come in yesterday, but he stuck with Gouffran, and Richie on the right, and in the middle was Shelvey and Colback, because obviously Isaac Hayden's out at the minute due to an ankle operation, and then Diame just behind Dwight Gale. So we did have a few attacking options on the pitch, but I thought maybe go with Atsu, you know, especially at home. Villa down in 17th, haven't won since Boxing Day. It was a real opportunity really to go and score a few goals, I thought. Villa were there for the taking, so why not utilise the more attacking players in the squad? But you never second guess Rafa, you never argue with Rafa, because you know he studies each opposition very, very hard before the game, before each game, and you know you just don't argue with him. The game, the first half, as I said earlier on in the video, was absolutely disastrous as far as I'm concerned. We were garbage, absolute garbage. There's no other words I can come up with. We struggled to create space. We struggled with the passing. And what really got me was the lack of commitment in the 50-50 tackles. You know, Gouffran a couple of times, Colback. Why? You know, especially Colback. You're known for one of these players who gets stuck in the middle of the park, but it wasn't there last night. First half, anyway. Totally different teams from the first to the second half. Rafa must have absolutely kicked their arse in the dressing room at half time. But we did go in 1-0 up. It was a ball into the box. It bounced around off 6 or 7 players. Eventually fell to Gouffran. He couldn't really miss. If he'd missed, he should have been shot immediately with a shower of shit. But he didn't. He stuck the ball in the back of the net. And it's 1-0. And I'm thinking, God almighty, we're 1-0 up here and we playing like this. And in front of the Sky cameras as well, I'm thinking, you know, we are supposed to be top of the league here, giving an absolute show, but it was an absolute shambles, to be honest. Half time comes and you're wondering, thinking, what team is going to come out for the second half? But Rafa, like I said, must have absolutely bollocked them, because it was totally different second half. We were so much more committed to winning the ball. We were passing with a bit more pace. We were moving forward with much more pace. And then obviously the second goal, it comes from a corner. Lascelles gets a foot on it. It then somehow Lansbury puts it in his own goal, which was the biggest piece of karma I have seen in a few years. And karma is you know, the quote is karma's a bitch, and it certainly was for Lansbury. The roar in that ground when they announced Lansbury as an own goal, it was just hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And so many people have put on Twitter after the game and pictures of Lansbury, you know, when he signed for Villa and things like that, and Villa fans saying, oh, Lansbury's going to score tonight. Well, he did for us. But you know, and I'd just like to make a point to Aston Villa fans, if any bother watching this video. You know, they spent 90% of that match trying to get at us Newcastle fans. They weren't singing for the team; they were singing about Newcastle United fans. And I'm thinking, you know, you guys are completely obsessed. You know, I mean, I understand for Villa fans, it's a very difficult situation that they're in. You know, your team's absolutely shite. You've got a shite manager, a shite owner. You know, who really is a, you know, I'd just like to say about the owner, the tweet he put out at the beginning of the season saying, oh, it is my priority to get out of this division at the first time of asking. Well, you're going to get out of it through the trapdoor into League One, and that will be absolutely hilarious, because the way the Villa fans went on when we went down there, I've been down there quite a few times and received nothing but abuse, spat on things, thrown at you, just disgusting really, which is why I don't hold Villa very high in my list of football teams. In fact, I just think they're the lowest of the low, and I'm sure they think the same about us, what have you, but whatever. and the fans outside the ground last night threatening people with stabbing and death and all of this kind of stuff. You're pathetic. Concentrate on your own team. You've lost 2-0 to us, to a team that is way, way above you in the league, and you're not even relevant to us anymore. You're heading the wrong way. You're heading out the division through the trapdoor, and for me, good riddance. We won't have to play you for a couple of years anyway, but, you and Steve Bruce are a perfect match. So good luck in League One next season, because I think it'll be absolutely hilarious to see you there. So the game petered out, really. We had a couple more chances. Villa did have a very good chance, actually, about 5 minutes after we scored the second goal. Long ball played over the top. I think it was Dummett, and Clark got in a bit of a mess. It clips off Clark. It leaves the Villa player one-on-one with Darlow, but Darlow stays massive. He doesn't go down. He just stays in his position. A bit like Peter Schmeichel used to, stayed big, didn't go down, and he made a brilliant save. Because had Villa got back in at 2-1 at that point of the game, it could have been different, because they would have been G'd up by that. I'm sure those nuggets up in the top of the stands would have got behind them a bit more, and it would have been, game on. But he made a brilliant save, and then the game, we could have scored a couple more after that, but it never happened. But I was delighted with a 2-0 win. Hell, I would have been delighted with a 1-0 win, scrappy game. Considering the first half and how we played, I think the second half was a lot more entertaining. We did a lot more with the ball. I thought Colback had an excellent second half. He went on a very, very good run as well, and it was a good save by the keeper, or else Colback would have been on the score sheet. I will make a big point of Mitrovic, because when Gale went off after 15 minutes or so, I thought, the way I've seen Mitrovic play the last couple of games, I was very, very worried about it. However, I thought he led the line brilliantly last night, and he didn't do anything sort of outstandingly brilliant. He just led the line well. He caused Villa defence all sorts of problems, which enabled our attacking midfielders and Diame to get a bit more forward and get a bit more efforts on goal. And I think that was down to him. He really did cause them a problem. So he was running about a lot more than I've seen in previous games. He was putting himself about. He was jumping for headers. And that's what we need from Mitrovic, especially if Gale's going to be out again for any period of time. We need Mitrovic on the top of his game. And I think, last night was a perfect indication of what he actually can do. He did everything bar score. He did have a couple of chances, but he put himself around very well. So I was really pleased for Mitro last night. Everybody I thought did okay. There wasn't one real player in that team who I can really have a go at for last night. The whole team was dreadful first half, but the second half, like I say, we did step it up a gear, undoubtedly, completely different. Massive game coming up against Bristol City on Saturday. It's one of those that Bristol City will be coming up thinking it's their cup final kind of thing. It's a massive day out for the fans. It's a massive opportunity for the team, really, to try and upset us at home like a couple have already done this season. But get 3 points there, and then it's the big 2 away games, which we have got to be on our game for. Massive games against Brighton and Huddersfield away. And I think if we can come away with, 7 points from the next 3 games, for me, that'll do. As long as we don't lose any, I think going to Brighton, we may be pushed back a lot. It might be one of those games like it was at Derby, where we just sort of sit back, absorb pressure, and hit them on the break kind of thing. So that's what I'm probably going to look at us doing at Brighton and Huddersfield. But 7 points for me is a target for the next 3 games. So if you've enjoyed the video, do hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Let's build it up. And also do drop your comments down below, because I'd be interested to see what you thought of last night, and especially what you think of the upcoming games. I will do another review of the Bristol City match that'll come out on Saturday night once I get home. But thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next Toon review.